Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and welcome to another episode of Jambareeqi Orange, the show where I let my patrons decide what I review. The options for this month's poll included Mission Impossible, The Smurfs, The Magic Sword, Quest for Camelot, 101 Dalmatians, Ant-Man, Justice League vs Teen Titans. Perdita and Pongo are two Dalmatians who live with their owners Roger and Anita and are happily excited about becoming parents. Anita's old school friend Cruella de Vil, a wealthy woman who loves fur, seems suspiciously interested in the puppies, becoming very impatient about their birth. Perdita eventually gives birth to 15 puppies. Suddenly, Cruella appears, insists on buying the little babies, but Roger and Anita stand their ground, refusing to sell them to her. This outrages Cruella, who promises to get her revenge. One night, while Roger and Anita are out, a pair of crooked men called Jasper and Horace break into their home and steal the poor puppies. The police fail to find the culprit, so Pongo and Perdita call on the help of the local animals, who discover that the puppies were dognapped by Cruella and are being kept in her old mansion. But the stolen Dalmatians aren't the only puppies being kept there, there's also many store-bought ones too. It turns out that Cruella plans on turning all these puppies into a spotted fur coat. It's up to the brave Tibbs the cat to go inside the mansion and rescue the puppies, while Pongo and Perdita travel to the mansion. The story for this movie is very straightforward, a simple narrative about saving puppies from an evil woman, then travelling back home. But man, it's such a well-told and brilliantly executed tale. Firstly, I love the sense of camaraderie and community in the film. Once the local animals are alerted about the puppies being stolen, they are all eager to help, no matter what species they are. It melts my heart seeing everyone coming together to do the right thing and make the rescue a success. I particularly liked a scene where the Dalmatians stop off at a farmhouse, the puppies start crying that they are hungry, and a cattle of cows kindly offer their milk to them. It's moments like this that really moved me. The adventure taken by the dogs is fantastically atmospheric, as we can totally feel the strain that it's taking on all the Dalmatians. I felt the coldness of the snowy weather and could sense how dreadfully tired these dogs were. I love how immersive this journey is for the audience, because it helps us share the dog's experience and makes the trip satisfyingly arduous. The puppies themselves don't get much development. You have the fat one who is always hungry, the one who likes watching television up close, and the big fan of the TV show that the family watch together. That's really it. I can somewhat forgive this though, because come on, they're so bloody cute. But even though the Dalmatians are reduced to being rescue victims, they do play an interesting part in the story. Because they are only infants, they retain all the needs, wants, and vulnerabilities of children. They demand more attention than your average rescue victim, which adds effective tension and suspense to the journey back home. These kids are very dependent on their parents' protection and comfort, plus they're not as strong as the adult canines, so it's not going to be an easy mission. Speaking of the parents, holy spots! Purdy and Pongo kick ass in this movie. It's rare for Disney parents to not only both be alive, but also heroes of the film. These two are so determined to save their puppies, they are relentless. You can see that their love is driving them to keep moving, and nothing will stop them from keeping their kids safe. They're always finding inventive ways to avoid Cruella too. So what about the human characters? Let's not forget about them. I really liked Roger. He clearly has a genuine love for dogs, and even though he's a struggling musician, you can tell that he has so much fun with his craft, no matter how little success he gets out of it. That's quite an uplifting spirit that starving artists can relate to. Anita, on the other hand, well, while I do think she seems nice enough, it does bug me how unsuspecting she is of Cruella. She's supposed to be the mature one out of the married couple, yet even after Cruella says things like this,
"And then of course you have your little spotted friends." Yes. Yes, I must say, such perfectly beautiful coats.
Won't you have some tea, Cruella?
Now, I've got to run, darling. Now, let me know when the puppies arrive.
All right. Keep the little beasts for all I care. Do what you like with them. Drown them. But I warn you, Anita, we're through. I'm through with all of you. I'll get even. Just wait. You'll be sorry. You fools. You idiots!
She still has the nerves to defend her.
Roger, I admit she's eccentric, but she's not a thief.
There's being innocently naive, and then there's being downright dense. I know she's an old school friend, but come on! However, I do like the maid. She's got this old-fashioned British charm to her, and I like how emotionally attached she is to her employers' lives. It's more than her job to serve them. She genuinely cares about them. When Horace and Jasper break into Anita and Roger's house, the maid sternly refuses to let them in. Yes, she's not built for combative defense and she ends up being tricked by Jasper, but it's the fact that she will try to fight for Anita and Roger's home that I find inspiring. 101 Dalmatians features some great villains too. Jasper and Horace may be lazy comic relief minions, but the fact they treat this planned puppy slaughter like a casual chore is quite creepy when you think about it. They have such little empathy that bludgeoning infant canines won't make them feel guilty or remorseful at all. Disney don't hold back on making them threatening either, even letting them violently throw darts and glass bottles at Tibbs the cat. Then we have Cruella, a scene-stealing over-the-top villainess. She's entertaining and scary. She commands herself with extreme confidence, but behind her classy act lies a woman with a relentless determination to turn some innocent puppies into a fur coat. There's something both menacing and exciting about how monstrously passionate she is about her Dalmatian fur coat project. This woman will not stop, growing more demonic as the film goes along. It's what makes her such a memorable antagonist. This film's animation marked a big change for Disney's usual art style. While previous films aimed to look beautiful, vintage, and polished, 101 Dalmatians is far more hip and contemporary. But even though it strives for a modern look, it retains a classic feel that doesn't age or date it at all. To this day, this movie still looks really cool and classy. The character animation is high quality stuff too. You can totally tell the members of Disney's 9 Old Men worked on this one. Their fingerprints are all over it, demonstrating the principles that shaped Disney's standard animation. Carefully composed staging and blocking, charismatic exaggeration, a sense of anticipation, it's all there, folks. I should also note something else. You see, before this movie came along, Disney animated features were inked and painted by hand. But then the introduction of the Xerox machine changed everything. Sure, a lot of people lost their jobs, but because the Xerox machine could be so faithful to the animation's original lines, the artists felt very happy because then the animation we saw on the screen was more authentic to what they originally intended. It also gave the studio opportunities to experiment with 3D animation, as they would actually use 3D models on the Xerox machine. I do find it interesting how this film has barely any musical numbers, as that's a staple of Disney animated cinema. 101 Dalmatians only has a song if it realistically fits the context of a scene. No one breaks out into a song out of nowhere. The only musical numbers in the film were either performed by songwriter/musician Roger or heard as a catchy jingle on the television. This proves that Walt Disney could leave the comfort of depending on fantastical songs to tell his stories. He wasn't too dependent on a certain formula. Of course, there's no denying that the standout song is Cruella de Vil, a blues track that mockingly scaves the malice of Cruella de Vil. The lyrics paint a vivid picture of how evil Cruella is, and the rhythm is oozing with sinister build-up towards Cruella's entrance. It's a classic Disney number. To conclude, 101 Dalmatians shook up the Disney formula in the 60s by being a bit more grounded and contemporary than their usual releases, indicating that the studio was ready to move with the times. It's a hip and classy animated film that never dates itself. Sure, its story is as basic as they come, but oh man is it expertly told. A very suspenseful thriller with highly memorable characters. Despite its simplicity, this is a revolutionary movie that saved Disney's animation department after Sleeping Beauty was such a box office failure. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. So, what am I going to be reviewing next on Jambareeqi Orange? Well, that's entirely up to my patrons. The options for next month's poll include Heavy Metal, Pooh's Grand Adventure, The Search for Christopher Robin, Captain America, Civil War, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, B-Movie, 101 Dalmatians 2, Patch's London Adventure. Oh, that's an interesting selection, isn't it? Now keep in mind that you have to be a patron in order to access this poll. What is a patron? Don't worry, I'll explain. This is my Patreon. It's a site for my fans to make monthly donations to me. Those who donate are called patrons. The money I receive goes towards funding my videos and serves as a supportive income for me. Patrons can donate as much as they want each month and stop donating any time. All donations are greatly appreciated, and in return for their patronage, patrons are given exciting rewards, depending on how much they donate, including their names credited in my main show, access to exclusive videos, and the chance to decide a review on my channel. Very excited to find out which film my patrons want me to review on this show next. Cheerio, folks.